Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion, Plays of Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. Can I tell you, it is a new era. We had a Windows update that did not kill sound effects. Thank you, Sir William Gates. I really appreciate your support in this trying time. BFBM YQNS. Ah! Okay, I'm fine. W7C6L39Q. That's okay. I mean, it was early. And if you're gonna go, I mean, in terms of comedic timing, that's gotta be the best way to go. To die to a champion enemy on the first floor. There's zero salts for that one, specifically just because, you know, that's kind of extremely fair. That's what you want on a Judas run, is to constantly feel the spice of life. And we felt it. And also, moreover, we should have dodged, you know, or let me rephrase. We could have dodged that, but dodged it, we did, but badly. Yeah, really good rephrasing there. I think that really cleared it up with some unambiguous verbiage. Well done. Anyway, I'm still having a great day. I got no complaints. I will say, hit the gym this morning. Typically, I'm changing gyms pretty soon. You know, since we moved, I don't want to go back to my old one. It's far away. Rather go to a new one that's closer. But I'm still going to my old one for now, because, I mean, come on, those memberships don't grow on trees. Either way, most of the time, it's a small place. At, you know, like 10 a.m., I am one of 2 people in there, oftentimes alone. Sometimes 3, 4, 5 people, but rarely. You know, usually it's me and one other person. Today, there were like 11 people in the gym. I think we're officially at New Year's resolutions days, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I was, you know, bumping into people nonstop. People were very polite. Except I will say, I was using a machine. I stood up from the machine. Standing, I don't know, less than 5 feet away from it, taking a rest. A couple that I had not seen in the gym before. They got the paper towels. They sprayed the weird... It worked. Like, yellow liquid, not that one, not that one, onto the paper towel. They wiped down the machine I was using, but didn't use it themselves. They just wiped it down and then walked out. There's no way to not take insult to that. Although I still sort of don't understand the philosophy behind what actually happened, to be honest. You know what I mean? It was like, they went like, whoa, this guy used the machine but didn't wipe it down. That's because I had 4 more sets to go, ma'am. You don't wipe it down between each set, you know? I'm not trying to use 90% of the world's ammonia supply. Anyway, that's the only... I'm just saying it's getting busy. And like most things in life, you know, I'm surprisingly not that misanthropic. Not as misanthropic as I appear to be on YouTube and Twitch. However, every single place on Earth would be better if I was the only person using it while I was there. I don't care if it gets insanely busy afterwards. I'm selfish like that. But while I'm using it, you know, it's very hypocritical. I can't deny it. I don't have a good leg to stand on. I want all the features and trappings of a popular location. I don't want anybody else to compromise my ability to use it. It's like, you know, actually there is, I can counteract my own argument. Weirdly enough, I actually prefer public transit when it is a little bit busy, but not empty or nearly empty. Something about, like, so we have the Sky Train here, which is just the subway, basically, but it's a Surway because it goes into the sky. I would rather be on, like, a 75% full train car than a train car that's just me and one other person. That's where things get a little spooky. Oh, crap. When it's just you and another person on the SkyTrain and it's like, you know, 10:30 at night, you're like, man, I hope this guy, you know, I hope we're kindred spirits. Let me put it this way. I hope it's not a guy who's like, sick. No witnesses, you know, that's... I prefer a situation... Well, you know, actually, now that I think about it, I think that might be true in general. Shouldn't have picked that up. Little fuzzy today on the way that I should be playing Isaac. Let's go check out this mob trap room, though. I actually think I'm revising my hypothesis from earlier. I would rather be alone than with people in a public place. But if I have to be with people, I would much rather be with more than one than just one. As long as we're talking about strangers. I wouldn't... Oh, come on. I would much rather... I guess we're leaving the item room. We could go to the curse room, but the odds of that turning into a key are very low. I think. Because, you know, there is strength in numbers. Perhaps. Or at least, like, psychically and psychologically. You feel like there's strength in numbers. Can I tell you something? Let me look at my friends list here. Friends who play The Binding of Isaac. Dan Giesling. 2 hours played recently. I think it's in the last 2 weeks. That seems pretty normal for a game that's several years old. You know, you might dabble now and then, unless you're, you know, insane, like I am. But you're not going to be spending, you know, a staggering amount of time. Sinvicta. 18 hours played. You can crunch the numbers on that. That makes perfect sense. My man's coming out with 1 Isaac episode a day. You would expect that to be maybe an hour a day at most. Plus he streams it now and then. This is very spooky. I am almost dead. Now here's the punchline. I know you're like, when does it get funny? Bad dodges! This is horrible. No seed this time. Maybe that's what's killing us. The punchline is Cobalt Streak 52 hours played recently. That's a lot. I know he's been doing a new Isaac save file. Help. So, I mean, it's not like it's out of nowhere. It's not like he's just playing it in his downtime for 4 hours a night for leisure or whatever. That's a lot, dude. I mean, trust me. It's the pot calling the kettle black. I will never, again, have 52 hours of Isaac in 2 weeks, probably, even when the DLC comes out. But I definitely have, like, I don't know, 10 to 15 hours a week forever. So, if Cobalt takes a couple of weeks off, you know, we're catching up to him in that regard, but it's a lot. Also a testament to the enduring legacy of the game known as The Binding of Isaac. Can't deny that. I'm a little embarrassed by our performance so far, but I also sort of, like, I think it's understandable. I don't think either of the runs we've lost have been like, wow, you really threw that one away. Like, the Lazarus run we lost last week, there's a tough English phrase for you. The Lazarus run we lost last week was embarrassing. We should have won and didn't. These runs, you know, it's like killing Goku before he learns he can go Super Saiyan, you know? As Judas, we start in a fledgling position where things become, you know, nothing is guaranteed. That was easy. And that's very helpful as well, thank you. It's only when we get a little further in we get more powerful. And those are the only 4 people on my Steam friends list that have time in Isaac this week. What is everybody else playing? Dude, everybody else on my friends list is playing Halo the Master Chief Collection, which is... I get it, dude. Trust me, I get it in a big way. It's a fun game. I really, in terms of like what I've been playing casually, so like to be honest, I haven't been playing as many games casually as I would like, right? So, you know, a couple of days ago, I was like, oh, my parents aren't here anymore. It's time, you know. I love having them here, don't get me wrong, but now I have my leisure time is mine and my wife's alone. And we had a couple of days of that. And then my wife was cooking, and she chopped off the tip of her finger, chopping some carrots. So that sucked up a couple of hours that night, obviously. I'm not really complaining. I mean, my job in that regard was way easier. I was the person who did not have their finger chopped off. And it's not, like, when I say she chopped the tip of her finger off, it wasn't like 3 centimeters. It was like a little cross-section of the tip. I'm not trying to make it, you know, diminished. I just don't want you to be like, she's missing, you know, the joint. You know, it was nasty, and it bled like a son of a gun. But she's okay. So that sucked up a lot of time that night, and I was like, we should go to the emergency room. And she's like, I don't want to go to the emergency room. So I was like, okay, if it stops bleeding, we don't have to go to the emergency room, but you got to get a tetanus shot. By the way, I am not a doctor, but I was doing my best. Then the next night, which was last night, she was like, I think we should go to the emergency room. Because every time I take the bandage off, it bleeds. So we found it. Actually, you know, in Canada, the number one thing... I don't want to turn this into a debate of that ilk, okay? The thing you don't want to have to do in our medical system is go to the emergency room with something that has to be handled at the emergency room, but is not an immediate urgency. Because that's where you end up getting put into triage, and for the rest of the night, you know, you're watching people come in that are, like, bleeding from open wounds. And then you're like, well, there goes another... That adds another 20 minutes to our wait time. I know that sounds callous, okay? And it is, like, on a literal level callous. To see another human being suffering from something that's more serious than what you're suffering from. And be like, oh, my wait time. But, I mean, there's kind of a blind spot, as I see it, in a lot of the, you know, health systems here, which is, hey, I need stitches, or I need, like, a tetanus shot, or whatever. It would be nice if there was a place that we could go that is not an emergency room where we're going to be taking up resources from people that, you know, maybe do need urgent medical care. And also where we could get seen in, like, under 2 or 3 hours. Luckily, I Googled that exact hyper-specific phrase, and I found a place. I didn't even know it existed. I was like, go to the ER, but not an actual emergency. And it was like, hey, dummy, don't go to the ER, go to this place. And we were in and out in like an hour and a half. It was just actually very, very reasonable. But I am, I long for some peace and quiet. I guess, you know, that's life. You know, people make these jokes about... Well, my mom brought it up to me. She was like, have you heard of this meme? These memes? This is a true story, by the way, 100% verbatim. And I looked at her like she was insane. I went, memes? Is she talking about memes? I don't get it. She's like, you know, those memes on the internet. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying to me. And then Kate went, memes? And she was like, yeah, that's it, memes. I literally, like, I could not process what she had meant by the phrase memes. Anyway. Cut her some slack. She's my mom, okay? The egg layer. Okay, let me out. This run is definitely going to be solid enough to win. And she said, I saw this great meme the other day that said, marriage is just asking one person, what do you want to eat for dinner tonight, over and over again until you die. There's an element of, I mean, I find that meme humorous and relatable. Because we do run into that situation a lot in the Northernlion household. As soon as I finish lunch, I start to think about, you know, what do I want to eat for dinner? But I think that, you know, I've realized that there's a corollary to that as well, which is like adult life is just constantly looking 1 week ahead in the future and being like, I can't wait till next week when I'm not so busy. And then just never actually reaching that moment until, you know, you pass away. There's probably a bit more of a sadder element there, which is like, or until you retire, maybe, if you're lucky enough to get there, and then once you're retired, you know, get bored. Instead, you're like, I missed the days when I was so busy. Anyway, I don't want to bring that level of nihilism into the discussion today while we're playing video games. We should start a new school of philosophy. I think I'm very well... Did not mean to do that. I think I'm very well qualified for it. We could call it Nilesism. You can probably see where this is going. It's the central tenets of Niles Crane from the television program Frasier. And it largely responds... Or largely... what's the word I'm looking for here? The central tenet of Nilesism is conversational jabs, bone mows, and overly verbose references to musical theater. I gotta work on that. My musical theater repertoire is pretty low. I'm trying to think of, I mean, I know a little bit of Les Miserables. I've never seen the movie, but I saw a production in my hometown when I was like 14. And I know, gee, Officer Crumpkey, crump you, but that's from Curb Your Enthusiasm. West Side Story filtered through Curb Your Enthusiasm. I should watch more music. I got nothing against musicals. I used to have a lot against musicals, though. You know, when I was younger, a musical always seemed... And, like, don't shoot the messenger here, okay? I know I'm rambling a little bit. That's kind of what I do here. If you're a theater kid, a drama kid, I'm jealous, honestly, of the camaraderie and the experience that you had in high school. I had nothing like it. But you do have to understand that your exuberance for musical theater does... It paints the genre with a little bit of bias for people that are not in your club. You know what I mean? Like, when I was in high school, I've told this story many times, but the Rent movie came out. And I couldn't walk through the hallways of my high school for 2 years without hearing 525,600 minutes. How do you measure? And you might be like, that's sick, dude. That's a good song. Sure, okay. Here's the thing about songs. Even if it's good, you don't want to, like, hear it against your will forever. And I still remember, and this is probably one of my favorite stories from high school, even though it's, you know, it's not that robust in terms of what happens, but I had finished doing, like, you know, you do movie projects sometimes. The teacher's like, you can write an essay, or you can make a movie. And you're like, I want to make a movie. And you realize it's like 5 times more work than making the essay minimum. Regardless. Hold on, I'm gonna... You know what, I think we'll save the sun card so we can use it later and maybe speed up the back half of this run, because we kind of screwed up the front half by dying 2 times. So we'd finished filming our movie, which, you know, it went fine. But I got in our friend's car, because we were like, once we finish the movie, oh, there you go, we should go to the movie theater. You know what just came out? That's right, The Da Vinci Code. Starring Tom Hanks, Paul Bettany, and Audrey Tautou. Sorry. I think I'd still rather have the Sun card, honestly. Not a very good movie. Not horrible, but you know, definitely not something you have to see in theaters. Would be my review of the story up to this point. And as soon as I got in the car, the Rent soundtrack came on the aux cord. And everybody, I realized, like, I was kind of, not the outsider of the group, but, like, it was, like, 6 theater kids, and then also they were like, we should get Ryan to do it. His grandpa owns a camera. And they just all started singing, and they all had, like, their own parts, and I was just wedged in the middle seat in the back, like, oh, God. Luckily, it was only a 2-hour drive to the movie theater. But I think that's not fair, you know? I mean, I think it is fair to some extent. But I think as an adult, you know, that was basically half of my life ago. I should just get over it. Start watching more musicals. I'm missing out on a big genre. A genre with a lot of history as well, you know? Perhaps one day. I don't get that many opportunities to see musicals, though. You know, like, I mean, film versions, all go to bad, okay? Like, I know that some YouTube movie dude must have made an essay that was like, it's just a movie about Hollywood. People in Hollywood love movies about Hollywood. It's not actually good. I didn't watch YouTube movie dude's review, so as a result, I'm unable to respond to his opinion except in broad strokes, such as what I've just done. But I thought La La Land owned. I thought that was an extremely well done movie. Like the first 2/3 of that movie are very well done, and then the final act is just devastating in the best way possible. So that's, as far as like musicals, that's my only modern reference. No, I've not seen Hamilton. We don't seem to get that in Vancouver that much. I don't think there's much live theater here. Get a lot of concerts, you know. We're kind of like Seattle's younger brother, I think, you know. Seattle's like, you know, we had grunge, and we're like, yeah, we were next to grunge, and also we've got the Japan droids, who are actually just called Japan droids. But anyway. Don't get me. I don't think we get that much. I don't know if we have the Queen Elizabeth Theater, which yeah. Here's the thing. I didn't want to make this a Canada versus America thing. You made me, Mr. Strawman. Americans will laugh at that. Your theater's named after the Queen. All of your venues are named after pizza franchises. Little Caesars Arena. Oh, the Papa John's football field. That and insurance companies and banks that became insolvent in 2008 and were saved by taxpayer money. I would rather name a venue after Queen Elizabeth II than, you know, name it after an insurance company. That's right, I said it. I popped off. Let's go. Anyway. I gotta get down with the musicals. Don't send me recommendations. You'll only alienate me. As always, when I say I should check this out, what I actually mean is, in all likelihood, I will just forget about it and continue watching the newest Netflix documentary about murder, The Confession Killer. I mean, come on. Why would that guy confess to 100 murders if he didn't do them? But wait, the exculpatory evidence seems to indicate he did lie about it? This is crazy, dude. This challenges every assumption that I previously had about the law. It's decent. Look, you know that the true crime genre has hit saturation to some extent when a documentary comes out about a guy who fabricated confessions to 100 murders, and I'm like, I mean, it's not uninteresting, but where's the wow factor? He didn't even form an orgy-focused cult in Oregon in the 1980s. They didn't trick a pizza delivery man into carrying a bomb around his neck and robbing a bank. Like, come on. It's so pedestrian. Hold on, I think I hear a delivery coming. It's hard to tell. I've learned mail carriers, they got different steps. You know, it's like listening for animal footfalls, you know? Some of them are big clomps, clomping up in their boots. Some of them are real stealthy. You don't even hear them coming until the bing bong. Some of them are really stealthy. They don't even ring the doorbell, and instead they just put a note on your door that says, "Sorry, we missed you." And I'm like, I wouldn't say you missed me. Did we really not take the sun card with us, by the way? I apologize. The run is good, but it is bordering on danger. My head is not in the Isaac game right now. There is work to be done. This is good, you know? It's always nice to start a new day of Isaac recording with a brand new streak. Sort of. The sun? The hermit. I don't want to teleport yet. I think, honestly, I do want to get through... Really, the cathedral is the floor I'd like to get through the fastest, but we'll see how that comes to pass. I really thought we'd get out, but hey, maybe we could turn that into an advantage. We did. I'm not anti-Ludovico technique right now, but I wish I had more shot speed statically. Non-statically, like we get more shot speed on occasion because of the $3 bill. Yeah, I was gonna say fruitcake, but it's $3 bill. I think we could really use just one like flat improvement to our damage. Not rate of fire, because I think we're capped out there for the most part, but the D in the DPS would be advantageous. Let me out, please. Thank you. But yeah, you know, I think there's some merit in that as an adult, you know? This isn't even an I'm old bit. Great move right there. It's more of just like, you know, as an adult, you're kind of always busy. There's always something to do. But you naively never learn that next week is going to be the exact same. Can't believe we got hit twice on that room. Even now, I'm still like, you know, I know next week's not going to be different, but I mean, come on, next week's going to be a lot less busy. You never know. You know, things always pop up. That's why I advocate, and people laugh at me for this, and it is easy to lampoon me, shall I say, to use the most ridiculous term for it possible. That's why I advocate taking pleasure in labor when it's not absolutely ridiculous to do so, you know? The thing is, the young person's response, myself included, and many times throughout my life, when work is unpleasant, is to shirk the work. Is to make it as pleasant as possible by doing it less often, making it faster to do, even if that compromises the quality of what's done, etc., etc. i.e. not ever using real plates so that you never have to do dishes. I think, you know, the best, in my personal opinion at least, the best way to respond to work is to try to find the pleasant aspects of it and you know, take pride in doing the dishes. Like, I take pride in doing the dishes because I'm like, first off, I ate off of these plates. Secondly, what else would I be doing during this time? I don't know, solo queuing in the new Tetris 99 squads mode and getting, you know, non-stop 100% win rate? Yeah, probably, but we can always do that after. Secondly, you know, somebody's got to do the dishes. If I do the dishes, that means my wife doesn't have to do the dishes. And what I've done is open up a little bit of time for her to relax. It's a selfless act. I think if you spend your whole life trying to avoid some form of duty, you're just going to be that much more disappointed when you realize that there's a lot of duty yet to be done. Okay, we need a heart here. It's not what I was looking for. I really don't want to lose this bone heart. This is where I'm like, come on. How is our damage stat still here? You know, to be honest, we shouldn't have taken Chaos. Chaos has kind of screwed us up here. And not taking the Sun card, it was a little bit of a whiff as well. That was a shrewd maneuver, though. Don't you know he's a shrewd operator? Shrewd operator. You know you want to say it. Coast to coast, LA to Chicago, Western Mail. No. Wait, yes! You what? Okay, so don't speak to me. I know what you're thinking. I can see the reasons. Don't tell me because it hurts. That was the perfect room to use Algiz. What it was not the perfect room to do was kick a bomb into 3 different potential heroes and then pop alges for no reason. That was a bit of a subpar way to act there. I feel like what my brain was going for was use alges to jump in there, kick the bomb out, and save their lives. Instead, what happened did not really resemble that at all. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Oh, that turned out way better than it had any right to. I'm worried this run is kind of withering on the vine, to be honest. I don't wish for it to face consequence, but help me, Ludovico! Hold on, I was just gonna say there must be a tinted rock. How long do we have to do this to try to get small rock? I think I'm making a critical error right now, okay? I am rushing, without a doubt. And the rushing is actually slowing me down. It's like walking through quicksand. We don't need to go so fast. Please, the shot speed. In fact, the speed at which we're progressing is probably working against us more than anything else. Now, mind you, at 22 minutes, we are fighting Mom's Heart, I should say. It's a very good place to be, for certain. This will be a great time to get a real deal with the devil, which I understand with Chaos. Wow, that was a great dodge. I understand with Chaos is not always something that you can finesse. It is what it is. We're leaving in an okay place. Onwards to the cathedral. See, this is the shot speed I'm looking for. I actually think, you know, if we're going to talk Isaac, and you're like, no, please! If we're going to talk Isaac, the worst thing we did on this run was actually take Ludovico. I like taking Ludovico. It's a fun item. But in this particular instance, I think it's been contrary to the goals of this organization. That's okay, though. We still have, I think that it's likely to be this way because the secret room is in this direction, which would mean that there's more rooms in this direction, which means we're probably en route for the boss fight. I'm just saying, when you're right, you're right. Did get hit anyway. Yeah, I think we could have benefited from not taking Ludo in this situation, but it is what it is. Well, lots of garbage items coming out to play here. Pretty excited that by the end of this run, there's a very reasonable chance that we could actually have a 1 in 3 win rate for this video. Who needs a streak, dude? I'm just trying to bat 500. But it's okay. Oh, that's okay. We were already capped out, so it didn't hurt us. But I will say, you know, just, you know, being embarrassed about the quality of your Isaac play is one thing, but life goes on. You know, we haven't had what I would call like a slump due to our quality of play in a little while. I think we've had a reasonable amount of slumps due to, you know, running into the Keeper and the Lost at suboptimal locations. What is this tier effect that is impossible to control? Not even the Lost, really just the Keeper. But we haven't had an extended stretch of bad play for a while. That's not to say we're due, but just to say, you know, help me! I don't necessarily, you know, buy into the narrative that we've had a, you know, an extended stretch of poor play recently. I'm also resisting the temptation, because it is a flawed temptation, to be mad at the game for only having 4.72 damage right now, because I do have to believe that part of that is due to some idiotic plays on my part that I might even have a blind spot to. And instead just assume I've played the game a lot, so I'm doing the right thing. Chariot's always nice.
The chariot.
Probably was not necessary on that rune, but I definitely want to take blank rune with me. I mean, there are runes that are worth something, and there are runes that are worth nothing. Let it ride, boys. Thank you, thank you. As long as we break even on the hit, I'm not upset. But Yera would be good. And then being able to see the map would be good. You know what? We actually do want the full run reroll without a doubt. We can shoot again. Our DPS is higher. We still have Ludovico technique in the form of Blue Baby's only friend. But I think our damage is actually functional. And actually, with a high rate of fire, Shielded Tears is really good too. So I think that this is not, like, absurdly good. But it's probably better. Oh my word. And we're gonna put that theory to the test pretty quickly, apparently. That's way too slow to be worthwhile. But now I'm like, dude, so is my real damage? Yeah, that's tough. I wouldn't mind if, you know, a couple of the bombs actually made it through. Once we get a little bit of bomb action, it's not so bad. That's pretty terrible. Okay, please yeet this guy. Oh my god. I don't know, man. This is a cursed episode. I don't know. I don't know if I'm in a state to be playing Isaac. You sure that one of your fingers didn't get chopped off? Mr. I love La La Land so much I can't stop talking about it. Okay. Batten down the hatches. We still have a freaking chance. Oh my god, I almost had a heart attack there. He's done it. If only that were the end. What the heck is that? It's not what we wanted, I'll tell you that much. Okay, so it has been preordained from above. This run will be yeeted into the stratosphere. We got 4 literally useful but functionally useless items. It's like getting socks for Christmas as a 16-year-old. You're like, yeah, I can use them, but it's not what I wanted. For now, thanks for watching. I apologize. If you enjoyed the episode, click the like button. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Yikes!